Every morning around 5 a.m., millions of alarms go off. Most people hit snooze, rationalizing that one missed workout won't change anything. They rely on that initial surge of high-energy motivation they felt on Sunday night. But motivation is temporary, unpredictable, and completely unreliable when physical exhaustion sets in. The people who consistently transform their bodies month after month aren't relying on a spark of inspiration. They've tapped into a very specific psychological mechanism that makes skipping the gym feel harder than actually going.
In behavioral psychology, relying on raw willpower is a known trap. Willpower behaves like a biological battery that depletes through a mechanism known as ego depletion. When you make decisions all day, your prefrontal cortex tires out. If your workout depends on feeling inspired, your brain will choose comfort every single time.
Psychologists Edward Deci and Richard Ryan explored this through self-determination theory. They highlighted the distinct shift from extrinsic motivation to intrinsic regulation. Extrinsic motivators are external rewards, like temporary praise or a quick look in the mirror. These external drivers fade rapidly once novelty wears off. Consistent individuals transition toward autonomous internal regulation. At this stage, the action is no longer something you force yourself to do. It becomes deeply integrated with your baseline psychological needs for competence and autonomy. You stop asking whether you feel like training. The behavior becomes automated, requiring virtually zero cognitive energy to initiate.
We've all experienced that inevitable shift around week 3 or 4. The initial excitement fades, your muscles feel permanently sore, and the scale stops moving. You stand in front of the mirror, searching for visible proof that your effort matters. When you don't see instant results, your brain starts inventing convincing excuses. I'm too tired today, or I'll start fresh on Monday. This is the exact fork in the road where 90% of people quietly quit. The remaining 10% don't possess superior willpower. They just perceive this friction differently. When progress plateaus, people with high consistency switch from goal-oriented thinking to identity-based framing. Cognitive psychology shows that the human brain naturally seeks alignment between self-perception and action. If you view yourself as someone trying to get fit, every workout feels like an optional choice.
If you view yourself as an athlete, skipping a session creates cognitive dissonance. To bridge this gap, top performers utilize what psychologist Peter Gallwitzer termed implementation intentions. This framework operates on a simple if-then cognitive structure. Instead of setting a vague goal like, I will go to the gym tomorrow, you pre-script your neural pathways. For example, if it is 5 p.m., then I will put on my training shoes and head to the door. By removing real-time decision-making, you bypass executive dysfunction entirely. The prefrontal cortex no longer needs to evaluate how it feels. The action becomes an automatic script triggered directly by environmental cues. This systematic removal of choice friction is what turns temporary effort into long-term discipline. Over time, something subtle begins to change inside your mind. The gym stops feeling like a punishment you have to endure. It transforms into a quiet sanctuary where the noise of daily life completely cuts out. You notice that on days you lift, your mind feels sharper and your stress melts away. The physical exhaustion becomes a source of deep grounding relief. You aren't chasing a future outcome anymore. You're relying on the immediate mental clarity. That simple shift changes everything. Neurobiologically, this transition reflects a fundamental shift in how your brain processes dopamine. Dopamine is not the neurochemical of pleasure, it is the molecule of anticipation and pursuit. When you only focus on distant physical outcomes, your brain receives very little reinforcement day to day.
This long reward delay causes neural pathways associated with the habit to decay rapidly. Long-term lifters rewire this loop by adopting process-oriented goal structures. They anchor dopamine release directly to the effort itself rather than the final result. By celebrating completing a difficult set or showing up on a low-energy day, dopamine is released during the act. This immediate neurological reinforcement strengthens the basal ganglia circuits responsible for habit formation. You effectively train your brain to view hard physical exertion as its own primary reward. Over months and years, this neurochemical shift turns consistency into an effortless default state.
When you build physical strength through consistency, something profound shifts across your entire life. You realize that the resilience forged under heavy iron translates directly into how you handle stress, work, and personal challenges. The discipline to show up when you don't feel like it builds an unshakable trust in your own word. You stop seeking external validation because you've proven your capability to yourself in silence. Building muscle isn't just about physical transformation. It's the tangible proof that you can take control of your mind, rewrite your habits, and reshape your identity.
You can watch the rest of this ongoing series right now over on our channel.
Click the next video on your screen to keep exploring.